My first memory of being evacuated was being on a train and having a label tied on my front and carrying my brown paper parcel tied with string with probably a change of clothes in. I can't even remember what was in it.
Well, we all went to the school on the day of evacuation, in which nobody knew where we were going. I was at Fontal Road School then. I went to Fontal Road, and when we got to school, my cousin was going with his school, which was St Lawrence's. So the two sisters got together and said, can't the boys go together? So the two headmasters of the school got us together, and I was transferred over to St Lawrence's. And he said, the best thing you can do, he said, is he now becomes his brother. So I went away as my brother, I was my cousin's brother, and my name changed to Ronald Vaughan Lyon. Next day, we ended up in the village school, all in the one class, and they were picking out who's going where. And I was sitting next to my cousin, who was now my brother, of course, they called the register out, and he shouted to him, Kenneth Lyon, and he answered, you see, here. And then he said, Ronald Lyon. And I just sat there, I said nothing. And my cousin suddenly said, went, it's you! And he gave me an eye. And he said, he says, he's here, miss. And I said, here. But they only knew me under that name, you see. It took a long time for them to find out too. It was quite a while.
Here I am back at Emu, where I was here when I was about 4 years of age, from about 3, probably about 18 months in this place, this house, which there's a dormitory, etc. on the far side. But here, we're situated about less than a quarter of a mile from the beach. One particular occasion, my younger brother Peter, he had a black coat on, a blazer, and we were asked to move along the beach to the left while this some training exercise for the army, they were doing some sort of exercise. They asked us to move out of the area. We all had to take our coats, move along the beach, and the army people were probably there for about an hour, did what they had to do, signalled that everything's okay. We went back then, collected any belongings. When my brother picked up his coat, it was full of holes, so they'd obviously used his blazer for target practice.
When we were in the school, they took a photograph of us all, and we all got a little postcard inside, and the photograph was inside. So I posted off to my mum, and I just said, dear mum, dear mum and dad, love Ron, and that was it. She said, years later, she said to me, couldn't you have said something else?
Well, when Liverpool was being bombed and everything was being knocked down, it seemed sensible to get away, didn't it?
Seeing Liverpool city centre, where it was all flattened, you realised it had taken a real hammer in. My father had come home and says, we needn't pay those bills to that shop now. It's a furniture shop. It's just being bombed and all the records have gone, so we needn't pay.
Two friends picked up a detonator, and they used bricks to try and hit this thing, you see. And finally it exploded, but they were both okay. And they went and wrote an essay about it, and of course the next thing was the headmaster came in and gave them a dressing down. You shouldn't be throwing bricks at these things.
I was put to live with a couple that had no children. I was put in their house, but I had to share a bed with this older teacher. I didn't like that. And they had a friend who was an old bachelor, and he used to take me walking along the lanes in the moonlight. Once he took me to his house, but we didn't do anything. We didn't really get off together, you know, not to say we were like a couple. Just went for moonlight walks along the lanes. It was beautiful.
We used to call the toilet the Thunderbox, and that was about 100 yards up the garden. So, but it was just a seat with the bucket underneath. And in the field, when it was emptied, and I used to help the chap, Mr. Humphreys, who used to empty it, quite often helped him. We used to go out and dig a hole. He said, go and dig a hole. And we used to dig a hole in the field, next over the top of by the garden, his garden, dig a hole until it was deep enough. Then we used to empty this into the hole. Then, of course, I used to fill it in, and that was it. So each time we emptied this, we had to dig another hole somewhere, hoping you didn't dig in the same place as you dug before. This went on all the time. I always remember one occasion where we went to the Thunderbox, and he did it himself. He went up, and I wasn't with him. And he came back, and he said, somebody swallowed a threepenny bit, he said. And he had the threepenny bit in his hand. Somebody had passed the threepenny bit, and he picked it out of the...
I've got a lot of happy memories of Liverpool, but this area, it's certainly got a place in my heart.
The countryside to us was absolutely brilliant because there was so much to do there, you know, and so much play area to play around in, you know, and not playing around in the streets.
I enjoyed it very much. I was quite happy there. I was treated very well by the people at Clatherley. I've never forgotten them. They were very nice to us all.
This was like being on holiday, really.
We used to go into the park when I lived in Bootle. This was nothing like it. It was one massive big park, you know, with fields and woods and rivers and railway lines and everything to play on, you know, and explored everything.
We never experienced anything like this. It was something like you see really in Hollywood films.
We enjoyed our time immensely because it was like one big adventure to us. And we learned such a lot. It's just like being away on holiday.
During the time I spent here, I can honestly say I didn't know there was a war on.
I told you about this older teacher that I had to sleep with in the feather bed, didn't I?